We'd like to welcome you to a Greater Flint Creative Alliance showcase today. I'm a local poet, as well as actor, producer, all those fun things. Jenny's a local author, as well as filmmaker, as you might notice. This is not her book, this is my book, but it's nice for her to put that up there like that.
And if you buy one of these books, how much are they now?
Only $3.
Only $3. Charge me $5.
I charge
Okay, well, anyway, but if you do, then he will sign them for you. In fact, he even has a little line in here where he will sign it, and underneath it says, "Superstar Sex Symbols Official Authenticated Autograph here."
See, that's why I charged you $5. It's an extra $2 for the signature. That's how it works.
It is.
What's the book?
It's called
Nick
Burn It
Foster
All.
Cluck's Burn It All and Truck It Up.
Do you actually have how many books now?
I have 5 out in this series, 6 total, and I'm coming out with 6 and then a full-length collection by the end of the year. So look out for that at nickcuster.com.
Yeah, and be careful, he will try to charge you $5.
Again, only for my friends. Speaking of my friends, Jenny's also an author. She has books down at Patient's Bookstore, online, through Warrior Publications, which is your own company. What's your newest book you got out right now, Jenny?
Well, the newest novel is Bones and Native Spirits, and that's really available anywhere books are sold now. And so is Flint Project Volume 2. It's also available anywhere books are sold. You can get it as ebook or also as a old-fashioned.
For sure. And for those that don't know, what is Flint Project Volume 2?
That is really kind of the same, that's us. It's us. It really talks about, I interview people that are in the area, and also artists. They're all artists of some genre. And so if you're interested in Flint, want to see Flint art, want to talk, see what's going on in Flint, if you're not looking at the flintunderground.org website, where we have all of our videos, the book fits very nicely with those videos, because a lot of the same people that are in the videos you'll see in the book. So it's all
directory of who's out in the city and all that.
and you should be watching us on flintunderground.org too, by the way, if you're not.
Yeah, if you're not, you'll probably watch us on public access Comcast Channel 17.
On Mondays at 6 o'clock.
And you've probably only seen about an hour of what we got going on, but we have a lot more footage here, I guarantee you. So if you want to see more, or maybe more music at the end of the show, check out flintunderground.org. We have tons of videos, including art walks, sports open mics, all sorts of interesting stuff going on.
But we are the Creative Alliance.
Yeah.
That's our kind of our
It's our
mother,
moniker.
our mother.
Yeah, nonprofit organization.
Yeah, where we came from, and that's where we promote local authors, artists. What's the list?
I'll give them a spiel.
Okay.
So we're a group of artists and activists. We're painters, poets, organizers, dancers, actors, models, photographers, filmmakers, writers, DJs, musicians, designers, comedians, performers. Our mission is to organize events and activities that support art, culture, education, and our community. We want to encourage an atmosphere that makes people proud to live in Flint. If this sounds like an organization that you want to be a part of, we meet every Wednesday at Churchill's on Saginaw Street at 7 o'clock, except for the third Wednesday, which is our Creative Collab night over at Good Beats Cafe in Carriagetown off Grand Traverse. And that goes from 7 to 10. All our events are free, and we're just out there, friendly people like yourself. We're pretty easy to approach if you're trying to do something in the community, if you're trying to have an event. We're made up of our members. It means you too can come propose an event. And
Membership's only like $6 a year.
it's 50 cents a month. I
Yeah,
think. It's
really.
basically just giving it away.
If you just come to one of our meetings, and if you have an idea for an event, you can propose it to us, and we might just do that.
Yeah, and part of the benefit of being a member is you get discounts on events that we have, or book deals, calendars, stuff like that we publish throughout the year. So it's definitely worth it.
Great. And one of the events we're having soon is the Cool Cities Art Auction. That's March 22nd. We're looking for artwork. We're also great on bartering. So we have calendars and books that you could barter for. I mean, if you had something that was worth $10, we would barter for a calendar. The Voices book also, I think, is $10. We could, and that is a collection of artists' poetry and artwork.
For sure. Now, if you also donate a piece that's worth more than $50 to be sold off in the auction, we'll give you a free ticket
To the auction.
to the auction itself.
Auction's
It's like,
great.
I think about $30 for the ticket, so it's pretty good value, and you're supporting the coolest grassroots organization in Flint, so that feels good too.
And the auction is great. If you've been to an art walk, you should be to an art walk. Second Friday art walks in Flint are wonderful. They're a lot of fun. And those are also videotaped on our site if you want to see what it looks like. But it's the Cool Cities Art Auction is sort of like a really, really good art walk where you can we also have a silent auction for artwork. And that's going to be the 22nd of March, which is a Friday. The venues will be Greater Flint Creative Alliance, would be one. And
Now
then,
be where? Churchill's?
and then we're going to be at Churchill's. We're also, there's also going to be people, the farmer's market, art at the market. They're going to be at the Capitol building. And then Buckham Alley, or Buckham Allen Gallery
Buckham
is
Gallery.
also supposed to be one of the venues. So there'll be 4 venues.
And
Music.
GFAC.
Yeah, right. So there'll be 4 venues with music, food, alcohol, and then you can also bid on the artwork. It's a lot of fun. It's way worth $30 too if you just want to pay cash for a ticket. But even if you don't want to do that, like I said, if you had a $50, like you said, if you had a $50 piece of artwork, or if you want to volunteer, I'm a member of Creative Alliance and volunteer for a couple hours and you get a ticket.
That sounds like the best deal around. So for our show today, we have local painter Ken Little, who's going to be a treat to see. Musicians, we've got Carl Hart and the Madmen. And then we have a video from Ringmaster Zeb from a new children's book that he's doing called Kingdom of Fools. So you guys should stick around
Yeah,
for that.
that's really cool.
But before we get to our events, I want to call up Jerome Cho, Director of Programs for Flint Public Art Project. Tell us about an event they got coming up.
Hey, how's it going?
Jerome?
Good to see you. Hi, Jenny.
Hey.
All right.
Great.
So you guys have this International Art Festival coming up in Flint. You want to tell us a little about that?
Yeah, sure. Should I face you guys or pitch over there?
Well, you can have a good
we can
camera.
see you.
Okay, let's sit
Look
back.
at the camera.
So it's called Free City. It's going to be held at Chevy in the Hole, which you all know is the abandoned former Chevrolet manufacturing site that's just north of downtown. It's May 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And we just put out a call for proposals for all kinds of temporary events and artistic stuff. So it could be performances, it could be temporary light installations, it could be DIY machines. We've gotten proposals to build cars out of salvaged materials that you can drive, or giant 3-story dresses. We had a proposal for a class teaching young people how to make hula hoops and use them. So really the whole point is to just bring a lot of different activity and people to this site that has been abandoned for a long time. And we're really open to anything. So we want people to just give us their ideas and we'll work with you on it and we'll try and make it happen.
Is it a day and night festival?
Yep, it's going to be probably kicking off Friday evening on the 3rd, and then all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and ending in the evening on the 5th. Then one other thing is we're going to try and open up the site for 2 Saturdays in April, just to get people used to the idea that there is a lot going on there, and you should come down and see different kinds of performances and art, even before the main opening on May 3rd, just to get the word out. Just to let people know that there's going to be a lot happening in May.
How can they get a hold of you to make their proposals?
You can check out our website, flintpublicartproject.com, and the first thing you'll see is the call for proposals for Free City. And there's a lot of information, there's photos of the site, there's a map where the festival's going to be held, and then there's an email address where you can send a proposal.
So it's a great way for people to really get up. Because I know the Flint Art Project, want to talk about that a little bit? Because I noticed isn't Stephen Zaks is involved in that? Isn't that, he writes for architectural magazines?
So
There's been some write-ups about Flint in the magazine. So this is like a national thing that people can now be involved in.
Yeah.
Artists in the area could be involved in.
Yeah, Stephen Zaks is a Flint native. He went to school here. He moved to New York to do theater and write. He's a journalist. He's also writing a book about New York in the 70s and 80s when there was a lot of abandonment and when artists and squatters really took over the city and came up with all these new ways to be in public space and to take over abandoned buildings. And he brought this project back to his hometown because he was dealing with a lot of the same stuff in New York. And he realized that actually this could also have a lot of impact here in Flint. And some of those same strategies could have even more impact here. And the idea really is to activate all these underused spaces like abandoned buildings, like vacant lots, like Chevy in the Hole, but also to work with groups all over the city to start bringing life back to those places and to really change the image of the city. So Free City is a perfect example. It's this place that a lot of people might associate with getting laid off or plants clothing or buildings being lost, brownfields. So if we can get some of those folks to actually be part of bringing activity back to the site, then they can be part of reclaiming it. And at the same time, bring people from outside that they don't have that history, and maybe they come in and they see, oh, this is a lot of opportunity. It's all this space where you can do just about anything. It's a lot of space. So that's what we're hoping to do, is to bring those groups together.
Well, I've always thought that Flint needed an infusion of some outside artists so that we could maybe get some new ideas. We kind of tend to be to ourselves here, and it would be great to get some ideas and make some relationships, some
Yeah,
connections.
definitely.
with
That's what we're about,
outside
making those
places.
connections, but also just like
New York, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
But we also, I mean, there's so many artists here who are doing cool stuff, and a lot of activists who are already doing stuff to reclaim sites. And so part of it is, yeah, infuse resources here, bring people here, but also just get the word out about what's happening here. And get that story out, like you said, this is really a national audience that's going to be paying attention to this, and people from all over the country coming. So we want to bring them here, but we also want to tell the story of what's happening here to everyone else.
Great.
Do you already have international artists kind of coming through?
Yeah, we got about a dozen or so people we've talked to already who've said we would love to do this, local
Can't name names.
and national. Can't name names right now, but the deadline is February 15th, so definitely look us up before then and send us your proposal by then.
Very cool.
And you guys definitely send us your ideas.
Yeah,
For sure.
Something you want.
Probably film an episode out there or something.
Film an
Yeah,
episode,
yeah.
do poetry, just let us know.
For sure.
Now, what about this trade school?
Trade school. So trade school is this thing that it was not started by us, it was started by a group in New York. The idea is to have this school where anyone can teach a class and anyone can take a class without money. It all runs on barter. And I know, Jenny, you were at one of the first meetings that we had, and you're now one of the organizers of Trade School Flint. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that process has been like, or what are the next steps?
Actually, I don't know enough about it, except that what I was told, and our take on it, what we think we're going to do with it, regardless of what it started out with, I guess, is that it could be anybody can teach a class. So you know how to, like, one of the things that I'm thinking about is I could from scratch. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe I could even videotape. Maybe I could make a class on making tomato soup from tomatoes. And I could say in my list of things that I would like for that class, because we don't exchange money, we barter instead. I could say I want some tomatoes, I want somebody with some wine, maybe somebody that would cooperate the camera for me, and then some other things that I might like. And then in return, people would say, well, I'd like to take your class and I have tomatoes, or this person says, oh, I can bring a bottle of wine. And then we could have the class, have all the things we need for the class, teach the class,
That's it, done.
and
Easy.
and have a great meal afterward, maybe.
Yeah.
Pies.
I remember at that first meeting I told the story of I took a trade school class in New York, and it was on how to compost with worms. And the instructor had like just 3 kind of quirky things that she wanted, and one of them was any sheet music of a Nina Simone song. And I just happened to have that, so that's what I gave her to do in the class.
Oh, great, yeah, 'cause she wanted that personally.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, is you can put a list of
Yeah.
things that she would like. And I love the idea of it being barter instead of money. I mean, that is wonderful. I'm a barter kind of a girl anyway.
Me too.
Okay, so, and that's
So,
when it starts.
how are we going to find more information on Trade School Flint, Jenny?
Is there
Stay
an
tuned.
official website or anything
It's,
about
in
it
the works.
yet? It's
It's
in the
in the
works,
works.
so I guess if you were interested, go ahead, you
Here's
can
the
contact me if
directors
you
right
want.
here.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
but
There you
you
go.
get my website, it's my name and phone number together, so it's a JENNY 630-0577
Thank God it's right there.
And yes, right there, and I will collect these names of people and their contacts, and when we start the trade school, we can keep them informed.
Always worth it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Have a great show.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
So now we got one more event to add to our list here. We're talking about the Free City, but let me get to the list of events here.
Sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Oh, this is my story about my dog.
Read that instead of events, maybe. But As always, I'm going to start with the local. Maybe not. No, I'm not going to start with the local tonight. I'm going to start with Churchill's. So coming up Thursday, January 31st is College Night at Churchill's from 9 to 2 a.m. with top 40 dubstep, country, rock, techno, house, anything you could imagine that you'd want to hear. Ladies with Flint are Kettering College ID free until 11, $2.21 and up, and $5 for 18 and up. There are drink specials, I think $2 pitchers, $1 pitchers, someone gets drunk, check it out. Friday, February 1st, day after that, Shrek the Musical is played on Whitey. It'll continue from 8 p.m. that night. The second, it'll be at 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. Tickets are between $30 and $70. Sounds worth it.
It's a lot of fun. I saw it in Chicago actually. It's really good.
Is it?
It's a lot of fun. You know, I like Shrek. So to me it was fun.
Yeah.
It really, if you like Shrek, you'll like the play.
Sing Shrek. I like the local. And the local seems to be having some shows coming up. February 1st, 7 p.m. They got Sadie Lee, which is a cool band, As a Lark, Empty Orchestra doing a solo set, Mercy Beach, and the Beltry. Check that out. February 2nd, 11 a.m. There's a craft supply swap for Genesee County that's for Flint Handmade and the Habitat for Humanity at the Restore next to Farmers Market. That starts at 11, I think goes till 4 p.m. I know half of the proceeds are actually split with Habitat for Humanity, and the other half is going towards this really cool little craft vending machine that Flint Handmade is trying to put out there. They had the Flint soup, I don't know if to that. They were trying to establish that, so it's fundraising for that. So check that out. Bring some craft stuff to swap February 2nd, 11 a.m. That night, February 2nd, this Saturday, I'll be hosting Support Your Local Open Mic, followed by the Wayback Machine with DJ Michael A. at Churchill's. Probably do a video, so check out Flint Underground. I'll work for that. And that goes to about 10:30. Friday, February 8th, during the Art Walk, there'll be a Space Invasion from 6 to 9 at the new Fame store, 649 in South Saginaw, where, what was that metaphysical store used to be there?
Oh, yeah, it used to be.
Stir Your Imagination, or Stir Your
Yeah.
Imagination was.
But you know, that store was open, the Fame store was open for the Art Walk. It was on the
Last
video for December, if anybody's
Yeah,
interested.
it's a
you
cool
can
little
get it.
store. You should check it out.
Yeah, the Art Walk, December Art Walk video.
It says they're going to have live music performances by Jen Noel at 6 o'clock. She's really good. Bowl Kick at
She's
7.
gonna be on our show in March.
Okay, we're going to have Jen Noel in March. And then Maria Rose and Swiss Kicks at 8
She was on
o'clock.
our show too, remember that? That was
Oh, yeah,
over on the
yeah.
podcast.
That was a fun show. The beverages and snacks provided. And local artists will be displaying three-dimensional art, including Jay Rowland, Ariel Simone, Zach Gray, Ryan Gregory, Angela Bauer, and more. So check that show out.
So Ariel and Jay are actually, I think, putting,
I think they're Jaybird. Makes sense to me.
yeah.
That's cool. I like art. February 8th, that same night, Art Walk, they're not doing anything. Check out what we loosely affiliate with. Lovely Flint Underground show down at Churchill's. Yeah, we're going to have Decker Street
We
Music
are the Flint
Department.
Underground.
I mean, everyone's a Flint Underground. That's part of it. They give us money. Decker Street Music Department, Breaker
Yay!
Breaker, Dr. Striker, who's on our
He's
End of the
funny.
Era video
He's
that we
great.
had with.
Yeah, watch the video from the
Mad
end of the 5th Air video. Oh my God,
from,
he's so
Monday.
funny.
So, and then of course DJ Face is doing a special set at the end there. Can't forget him. That same night, if you're not going to any of those stuffs, Machine Shop 7 to 11 p.m. You got the Stop, Drop a Mosh Tour featuring Lies Within and the Paramedic. Free giveaways and raffles throughout the night from local tattoo shops and photographers. It's only $10. There's 6 bands, giveaways, 18 and up.
But isn't also 6 Seconds to Oblivion going to be on that show?
Oh, yep. So,
yeah, and they were on our show
6
too.
seconds, they're pretty good.
Yeah,
So check
they're
that
good.
out if you're not going to be anywhere else. There's good variety of stuff going on that night. You know, if you want the folky stuff, go to Fame. If you want some good local music, go check out Churchill's. If you want some heavier stuff, go to Machine Shop. Yeah. The day after that, Saturday, February 9th, there will be a fire and ice festival in downtown Flint
I'm
at the
excited about
skating
that.
rink. It's one of the new festivals that they got through the Mott Foundation grant. 2
Remember
p.m.
these-
till 8.
They used to have ice at the, you probably don't even remember this, it's been over 20 years ago, I think, that they
I heard a story about
they
this.
used to have an ice rink
And
downtown.
And
I
you
think
know
it's-
why they stopped that, right? Is because someone in the city government fouled up when they sold that building and they sold the $1 million ice generator that was under
Is
the
that
floor.
right?
Yeah, another thing
I
scrapped
didn't
in
know
Flint by
that.
idiots.
Yeah, that was a great thing, ice skating in downtown.
It would be a great thing. We
I
should get
did
it
not
back.
hear that story before
Good thing it
though.
cost $1 million. That was easy. But it is the Flint DDA's first annual Fire and Ice Festival at the rink without probably any ice. It's a free event. It says they're featuring ice skating, so maybe they got that item back.
Yeah, or somehow.
Or some sort of dry ice they poured all over. I don't know how it works. Ice carving, ice block displays, as well as fire-themed displays, probably made of ice. There'll also be chili cook-off between downtown restaurants and free samples given out to everyone unless you look homeless. You know they are.
Well, dress up if you're homeless, just dress up.
And if you disagree with that statement, send us a video, give us a call, send Jenny an email to this email address right here, J-E-N-N-Y. Let's talk about politics downtown Flint. Anyways, back to real stuff. There will also be an ice cash bar located in the lobby of the historic Capitol Theater, which word on the street is they're fixing up between you and me. I didn't say it. But Saturday, February 9th, the same night, 7 o'clock, you're not down at the festival. Right here at the Flint Local 432, we'll have Salute Your Shorts, featuring members of the Swellers, Wolves and Machines, On My Honor, the Loose Ties, and Hero Falls.
Oh, Loose Ties!
Yeah, Loose Ties.
We'll have Loose Ties on the show.
Local ska band. We should
You
have
guys on the
them.
show.
All 10 of you guys.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That same night, February 9th, there's a lot of stuff going on. Genesee Ramblers out of the new Bourbon Street Bar in Burton, with Pat Knight on bass, Mike Boyd on guitar vocals, and Tim Flynn on drums. And then, of course, like Jerome just helped us announce, February 15th is
the deadline.
Is the deadline for proposals for the Free City International Art Festival. They're going to have to
Get your stuff, make your ideas in there.
get it in there by February 15th to Art Project. They have a website, which I think is just theirname.com. It'll be from May 3rd to May 5th, so don't forget about that. February 16th, 8 p.m., Morning Wolf, Sleepless Malice, Blood of the Unborn at the Aloha Lounge on Door Highway. February 16th, same night, just next door at Jada Music Factory on Door at 8:30. They are having a 3-day weekend 38th birthday party with a lot of extra wording. Sounds like a cool night. Check it out if you're free. Go to JW's. Autumn Coma will be playing in the Grand Blank at the Wild Spurs that same night, 9:30, February 16th. February 22nd, Raphael will have a book signing. He's one of the people that comes to the collab night, the local author. This good kid. He'll have a book signing at 6 p.m. February 22nd at the local library. For his mother who passed away. He's a good kid. You should come support him, support local authors. The day after that, February 23rd, there will be a slam poetry reading or jam at Rodney's Loft right here in the alley. Do you know more about that?
No, I've been seeing the little blurbs, but I really don't
That
know.
sounds cool. I know Rodney's notorious not liking poetry, so that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And those are the events we got here. If you guys have more events you want to send them to Jenny again at that email that you can also complain about. And all that other fun stuff too.
The email, fun email.
Email it.
Call
She
me
wants
out
some
here,
email. But now we got that out, I would just like to mention before we go to our what do we call it, not our sponsors, but our underwriters, that you too can be an underwriter. Because now we're filming the logo, it's a lot cheaper, we're not having to pay extraneous costs. It's only $10.
Only $10?
Only $10. And you too can get a couple 30-second spots on our show.
And you know, again, we like barter. So
barter.
it's only $10. So if you have a CD, maybe an original CD, unopened, that may be signed or opened and signed, you can have a commercial, either 2 30-second spots or 1 60-second spot. And I think Tara Morris is going to have a couple of videos on our show today. They're going to be underwriters. So anyway, so that's another idea for you. If you're an artist or a poet, writer, if you want to have a commercial, put something together, send it to us. It's only $10 for 60 seconds.
Cool. Well, let's see who put forth that donation. Let's see our underwriters.
Page's Bookstore is locally owned and is located at 132 West 2nd Street in downtown Flint at Buckham Alley. Showcase for local authors and artists. Visit during the second Friday Art Walk.
Signs by Craney is the area's largest and most complete custom sign company. From concept through completion, no one does it better. Design, fabrication, installation, and maintenance. A business with no sign is a sign of no business. Located in Flushing, 4160 Commerce Drive at 810-487-0000. Churchill's Food and Spirits, 340 South Saginaw Street, is one of downtown Flint's oldest hidden treasures. For more than 30 years, Churchill's has been a local downtown favorite, serving quality food and service at a reasonable price. Stop in and see why so many students and business people alike choose Churchill's. Happy hour specials and home cooked lunch specials daily. Live entertainment every Friday night.
And we're back.
Go back.
I'd like to welcome our first guest, painter, Kenny Little. Kenny, welcome.
How's it going?
Doing all right. So, just to get us started, you're originally not from Flint. You're from New York.
Right.
Moved here a couple years ago.
It's about 7 years ago.
7 years ago. Settled here. Went to school at Mott for art, for painting, I think, right? Cool. And then now you're just continue doing your work.
Yeah.
His first question is why?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Do you like Flint?
Did I move here? Oh, that's kind of a long story, but I'll tell you after the show.
Okay.
Well, why do you like painting? That's an easier question, maybe.
So I feel like painting is the only thing that gives life meaning. I don't know, I'm sure musicians and poets feel the same way. For me, it's just painting gives life meaning. You know, some people have kids or get married or whatever, but for me, it's painting and music.
Like a similar act of creation. You're putting something into the world that wasn't there before. Is there a generalized concentration or certain subject matter that you focus your work on?
Mostly abstract art.
Okay.
I feel that life is mostly abstract. People try and hold on to what's concrete and what's there, but nothing's really there.
Like they're trying
It's all-
It's an illusion.
trying to create context out of it. That's interesting. Well, let's look at a few of your paintings real quick. If you want to, like, just go in line. If you want to say anything about them while we do that, we'll do that. So we'll start all the way to the left with the purple guy at the top. So it is MLK Day today. It is also Inauguration Day.
Of an
Big day.
African-American person.
So this first piece is Martin Luther King Jr. Tell us a little bit about it.
I used a stencil for the Martin Luther King Jr., but the rest of the painting, it's just a t-shirt that I cut up and I tied it off, I sectioned it off with rubber bands, and then you can thin acrylic paint with boiling hot water, and after I thin it, then I pour the paint on the canvas.
That's really cool. It's definitely got a very good tie-dye effect where it almost...
Yeah, it's the same concept as tie-dye, just with acrylics.
Now, I like that juxtaposition of the tie-dye, like the new age type stuff, with the very profound and historical image. You know, like that's the image I think when I think of MLK. You know, but yeah, at the pulpit, giving a speech. Is there some sort of overlay of ideas there, or?
Not really. I did the painting, and I thought that I needed something more to it, so I pulled the image off the internet and just, made a stencil.
That's cool. I like it. And then let's move on to the next one, the blue one, melancholy. I think a lot of people associate blue with that type of emotion. Is there anything special about this painting that you want to express?
Not really. I used a palette knife and a comb to do the background, and then I dripped the black paint on the top.
I like it. I like the waves. It's just fluid. It really embodies that idea.
I like experimenting with ways of painting without a paintbrush, using a palette knife or pouring the paint on the canvas.
Yeah, I remember a piece you did a couple years ago where you cut the canvas out and stretched it outside of the canvas in a really unique way. That was interesting. Let's talk about this next one, Essence. I like the colors in this. I like the golds and the reds. But it's also got these simple lines. What is this painting representative of?
This painting is just representative of, like all paintings, just start out with a few brush strokes. And when I first started this painting, I laid out the background, I wasn't satisfied with it, so I took a wet rag and I just went over the whole thing. And then I just did a few brush strokes. I was satisfied with that. I think a lot of painting is about working your way through the frustration, and if you can get to that point, then it's satisfying.
Yeah.
It seems easier in a painting to work your way through the frustration than in life in general.
It's therapeutic.
You have some control over it too.
Right.
I like these tie-dye type stuff. Tell me about the orange one.
The orange one, I used I thinned acrylics with boiling hot water, and I used melted candle wax. Those paintings are more about timing, because I've got to prepare the cloth. I wet it, and then I thin the acrylics. Then I do the painting, and then I pour the candle wax. But it's more about timing. You have to prepare the t-shirt, and the paints, and then pour the candle wax.
It seems like a ritual type process. But it's more in the process itself.
Right.
Because technically they don't look super complex, but they are. You put a lot of layers in there, you put a lot of effort into perfecting the image. I feel a lot of people that don't paint like myself don't really appreciate that unless you see it in action. A lot of time it takes to prepare a canvas like this, or just experiment with the ideas of how you apply, or like your comb, palette knife stuff, just the different ways to manipulate paint. Let's start with this last one here. Titled Fresh. What does that mean to you?
That one I used the batik method. I poured the candle wax first, and then I prepared the paint, and I poured the paint. And after the paint dries, I scrape the candle wax off with a pocket knife.
And it leaves those light colored sections.
The white spots.
Very cool. How long have you been painting, Kenny? You said
Since I was 12, so 14 years now.
very cool.
For me, painting is more about the process, it's not about the finished product. I just like being in the act of painting.
In the zone.
Sure. Have you been showing your stuff lately?
For the past 4 or 5 years, with the creative lines, and now with that view, Churchill's.
Yeah, so you're going to be at Churchill's on the February Art Walk, is that right? February, what day is that?
It's gonna be the
February 8th?
Yeah.
We didn't talk too much about the February Art Walk, but,
Mentioned it there with Decker Street, and then
Flint Underground is going to be at Churchill's there.
you're gonna have a little art fair type thing in the music room. So you've been working on, are you constantly working on new pieces? Are you doing new series all the time? Or what's your process here? Do you get a good collection and then kind of try to show it, or are you just constantly working?
When I paint, I try and do a painting a day, because I do smaller pieces. It's cheaper to do smaller paintings. Acrylics dry really fast, so I try and complete a painting within 3 to 8 hours. So you only have so much time before the paint dries. And I've been painting before, and the paint dries right on the paintbrush. But oil paints are different. Use medium so the paint stays wet longer.
Yeah.
Acrylics dry super fast. You kind of have to work fast.
You have some of the paintings in my book, in the Flint Project Volume 2. We have some paintings in that book too, if anybody ever noticed. Kenny's been around for a while. He's
Yeah.
one of the major artists in the Flint scene. So,
What would you say to other? Let's cut you off.
what was you were telling me there was something in common that the first three had, the first three paintings?
That they're all poured paintings.
They're all
I use
poured?
the same method, basically.
Okay, so the first three. And you're going to be at the Churchill's. How else could people find you if they wanted?
I have a website, kennylittle.com.
Right?
I used to have a Facebook, but I deactivated that.
Oh,
For
really?
the rage.
I've been trying to contact you. That's why you haven't been contacting me back.
That's why you did it over here.
Now we know.
So KennyLittle.com, they can see more of your work. While you got this moment, what's something you would say to a young artist just starting out, somebody who doesn't have 14 years of experience?
I'd say to just keep experimenting, different ways of painting, different ways of applying the paint to the canvas. Work on as many different materials as possible. Paint on canvas, cardboard, glass, mirror. Just experiment as much as possible.
Creative. It's great.
Sure.
Anything else?
No.
Anything else you want to add there, Ken? Any words of wisdom?
Well, it's good to have you here, Ken.
Thanks.
Would you consider teaching a trade school class if someone
Yeah,
approached
there
you
you
and
go.
said you want to do something cool? Yeah.
Mr.
I'd be
Barker.
interested in,
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's
I'd
what we'll
be
do.
interested in teaching abstract art.
Oh,
'Cause I remember when I was
great.
I was a little kid, there was no classes to take on abstract art, so it was more something like, if you're an abstract artist, you have to devote time yourself because there's no class. They only teach realism in art school, and like any school in general, it's how to draw realistically. But I want to teach people how to, do abstract art.
Well, we could videotape it, put it on the FU website.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to merge all these ideas. Kenny, you are going to be joining Trade School Flint with Jenny here. We're going to turn it into a free art university.
Yeah, and we're going to videotape the classes.
Yeah, and we're just going to barter for like the basic materials to get
Right.
everyone in this little area to have a college degree, but it's a big college.
But we don't all have college degrees.
We don't need college degrees, professors.
Okay.
Deans. Well, thanks a lot for coming on the show,
Yeah,
Kenny.
thank you so much.
And check out KennyLittle.com for more information, or see Kenny at the Art Walk for the Underground event on the 8th.
Yeah. And we
Thanks a
should
lot.
probably go to our commercials.
Yeah, let's go
Our
to our
underground-
underwriters.
Underwriters, there we go.
We're always thankful for them. Here they go.
Page's Bookstore is locally owned and is located at 132 West 2nd Street in downtown Flint at Buckham Alley. Showcase for local authors and artists. Visit during the second Friday Art Walk.
Churchill's Food and Spirits, 340 South Saginaw Street, is one of downtown Flint's oldest hidden treasures. For more than 30 years, Churchill's has been a local downtown favorite, serving quality food and service at a reasonable price. Stop in and see why so many students and business people alike choose Churchill's. Happy hour specials and home cooked lunch specials daily. Live entertainment every Friday night. Signs by Craney is the area's largest and most complete custom sign company. From concept through completion, no one does it better. Design, fabrication, installation, and maintenance. A business with no sign is a sign of no business. Located in Flushing, 4160 Commerce Drive at 810-487-0000.
And back from the sponsors, I mean.
And remember, you too could be an underwriter. It's only a $10 donation to Creative Alliance, and you'll be helping support one of the coolest grassroots organizations downtown. Likely to be the coolest, if you ask me. But before we go on to our next musical guest, which is going to be Carl Art and the Men, I want to show a quick video with Ringmaster Zeb. It's kind of a little trailer he did based on a new children's book he wrote called King
Actually,
of
it
Fools.
is the book. It
It's
is
the
the
book
book with all
itself.
the illustrations.
Oh, very
He's
cool.
going to be on our show in March.
Okay. So if you like what you see, you can buy the actual physical book from Zeb for, I think, under $10.
$20.
Maybe $20.
Yeah,
Comes
also
with its
get a
own
video.
soundtrack. So let's just go into that. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Let's check it out.
Once upon a time, In a medieval age, there existed a parading carnival which traveled throughout all the known world. This parade was led by a magical imp known as Punchinello. One year, as this carnival paraded through a vast and wondrous kingdom called Thespis, the king Zebadiah became so enthralled by the presence of Punchinello as to request him to come before the royal court to perform as his royal jester. Punchinello did in fact envy Zebadiah's kingdom and left his paraders standing behind. It was then Punchinello's mischievous plan to utilize his demented skills of melancholic music and riddles to drive the king and his court insanely mad. Punchinello succeeded in doing so, and thus took rule over the entire kingdom of Thespis. Punchinello then began to reconstruct the kingdom with a myriad of bizarre and puzzling mosaic shapes, which then utterly baffled the entire known world. Now, known as Lord Punchinello, he brought before him the world's most crafted Toymaker, as to create these most bizarre, human-like automatons. The Toymaker did so, but only as to dedicate his inventions to his children, his son Jinx and his daughter Nyx. Lord Punchinello then came to know of a strange and powerful sorcerer who lived afar near the world's edge in the land of Nevermore. This witch had a pet octopus whom guarded the sorcerer's secrets, yet Punchinello found a way to steal a magic element from the octopus. He then climbed to the top of the theatrical world as the Puppetmaster, and thus invoked his own cosmic thespian power. However, the Mad King still had a gallant son by the name of Zeb, whom had come to boldly confront Lord Punchinello. Yet upon Zeb's approach, he became under the spell of the octopus and fell asleep. There, while Zeb lay asleep, Lord Punchinello and the Toymaker altered Zeb's body, as to make him part toy, yet master of all other toys. Still under the spell of the octopus, Zeb formed a theatrical circus from the Toymaker's automatons and all remaining carnival performers, and henceforth was known as Ringmaster Zeb and the Octopus Sun Brother Circus.
Well, that was fun.
Oh, that was great.
That was a
Wasn't
good
that
little
fun?
book.
You should. I have a copy of the book myself, and you can also buy each one of those illustrations independently as a poster size
Oh, cool.
Piece of art. Because I believe that Zeb also created each one of those illustrations, and then he also created the book.
Yeah, I love his performance style on the audio part, where you really hear like Ringmaster Zeb at his best. You guys check it out if you haven't seen it yet.
And now we have.
And of course, we're back with Carl Art and the Madmen. Welcome, guys. You might recognize some of our Madmen here. They were on, I think, last month.
Right.
That's Terra More. And then this is the man himself, Carl Art.
But there's a totally different sound.
No, that's the cool thing.
With Carl Art, it's more of a kind of a rockabilly type sound. What would you describe it as, Carl?
Rock and roll.
Yeah, American rock and roll. The musician John Roderick once said there's really only one genre of music. It's called, or two. There's rock music and then there's everything else. You just need to get into that rock music genre. Yeah.
You definitely want to dance. I know I want to do the twist when I'm listening to you. Right?
That's the goal. We want to get people moving and just reach them on some level. Get them involved in it. For sure. Get them out there.
And you have a very unusual voice, and I think it makes you stand out from all the other bands. And
it comes from not being able to sing at all. Really, it's when I was 19, I started trying to actually be the front person for an old band I had, and it took me about 4 or 5 years to actually be able to carry the tune just barely enough to get through the song, and then I started adding little, high-pitched little screamy kind of things off of from the band The Automatics. They did that. They would have this kind of like Elvis Presley kind of like sound, and then they'd have these little like wow, like input about really whales. That's a great way to put it.
Give it that rock and roll sex.
Yeah, that's what makes you sound unique too. I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, it's really a unique sound, and then the rock and roll. I mean, it makes you want to dance, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, that's if nothing else, we strive to be unique.
For sure. So, what's the process for songwriting for you guys? Is it led by you primarily? Is it just a full collaboration?
I write all the Carl and Madmen material. I write by myself, and then we go to play shows, and I say, hey guys, here's a new one. Play along, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Dion and Brian are such good musicians that they can just go, okay, 4, let's go.
And sometimes it's a surprise, I think, too.
It's a regular thing for Carl to throw us under the bus.
Yeah. It makes me look better. If you guys mess up, it makes me look good. But I know what I'm saying.
I know this song.
Yeah, I know that. Except I probably mess up more than you guys on most of the songs on this choruses or.
I saw you guys last Friday, actually. You were with the Magic Comedians.
Oh, yeah, with Nathan Franzo.
Yeah. Oh, that was a lot of fun. That was so much fun.
Those
I wanted to ask you though, who was that beautiful blonde woman that was dancing?
The one that came up and started taking away the mic and the drum set?
Who was that? Was she part of the act? Or?
No.
It was great. It was great. She was wonderful.
No, it was. Me and Brian were talking about that when we were actually setting up earlier, setting up our instruments, that was just really added something to the show and made it more interesting and engaged and more energetic, which we really,
She first off, she was behind Brian. And she was doing this thing with her hair, and she was like it was really great, and then she kind of got down on her knees.
Oh, Brian.
And then she kind of crawled between Brian's, and he's all the time trying to play the bass.
This is all in public.
And she crawled through his legs and kind of snaked, and I wanted so much to have my video camera, but I didn't have it.
I had mine. I said that.
The Madman consists of Brian Castle on bass, Brian Castle on bass, and Dion Woods on drums, and I'm Carl Art. We comprise Carl Art of the Madman.
Ready?
for?
Yeah. To Carl, yeah. And that meow song. So do you think she wrote that?
Either she was a plant, or it sounds like she wanted to steal the limelight from you guys.
Oh, no, limelight. She added too.
I was thinking about hiring her as Carl Art and the Madman dancer. You know, like
it was amazing.
Yeah.
Do you think that she wrote that meow song herself? Or?
I think
that was the deepest song of the whole night.
It was very profound. I think probably, yeah. I bet it was inspired by her dog, would be my guess. But I bet she wrote it herself.
It was great.
Are you guys constantly kind of learning off each other and each other's specialties and talents?
I'm learning through them. I don't know if they're learning from me. I would say they're probably the more experienced musicians.
I learned some drinking tips from Carl.
I'm pretty good at that. I'm good at that.
That's a trade school class right there.
Yeah.
I was on the
school.
Carl's the singer-songwriter of this outfit, and we pretty much just react, you know, we're the black pieces in this chess game. He makes the first move, and we just counter-move.
So is there a lot of ad-libbing? I mean, does this kind of thing happen a lot?
Oh,
yeah.
The beautiful blonde women that...
We fly by the seat of our pants pretty regularly.
Beautiful blonde women, that's almost every show.
And she was fiddling with your cymbals, I know.
Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
That's
That was great. That was really you never know what to expect when you go to Churchill's.
Yeah, and when she was done, Churchill's floor was clean. It doesn't always happen.
Those Churchill shows are a lot of fun with Nathan and the Magicians. I mean, people really, when you have, whatever, it's 3 hour block of...
Intimate crowd?
Well, no, just a 3 hour block of music. By the end of the night, people are pretty much worn out on hearing music, and they kind of want to just drink and talk with their friends and go home and whatever. But when you have the comedy stuff and there's a band at the end of the night, everybody's really, had a good time laughing and drinking, and now they want to get up and dance. You get much more, I think, crowd involvement at the comedy shows than you would at a regular
Oh, I love that intimate
show.
setting too, where women were basically talking to the guys while they're playing.
Yeah, it's when you're right on the level, there's no stage
Brandishing
to
our
put you up on.
carrots and all that kind of stuff.
it's a lot of fun playing those guys on too. It's a unique experience, kind of lends almost like late night vibe to the whole thing.
Yeah, make it much like the Arsenio Hall show or something, David Letterman with the band. It's a lot of fun.
That's
It's
cool.
a good time.
So when's your guys' next show?
Yeah, what are you doing next?
Do we have a show? In the lunch, I'm thinking the White's Bar thing, but I don't know if that's set on the
That's
site.
something we're still trying to put together.
Yeah, that's kind of up in the air. I don't know if we have any shows that are like cemented. I mean, a few things are kind of up in the air, but
Okay.
Yeah, nothing in
right
the
now.
immediate future, but
We got kind of. I mean, we're doing
Pops up.
Brian and Dion are doing a project called Castle Woods, which is kind of a jazz thing that I'm going to be doing the engineering and possibly some of the mastering on.
Yeah, they just did a little intro song for this show through
Oh,
the
yes,
Castle Woods
and,
project.
yep, and
Yep.
Tara Moore does the intro to our show.
Yeah, and so that's kind of, we've got our eyes set on that right now, and so it's kind of distracting a little bit from booking shows, because that is just booking shows is a full-time job, let alone playing them and then recording albums and all that other stuff.
And that's like a first attempt at kind of putting together sort of your jazz session type event where you have like several virtuoso players. None of these people are going to be, they're going to be familiar with each other's work, but none of them will have worked together when we put them in the same room.
What types of musicians are you going to put in the room?
Well, holding down the bass and the drums is going to be myself and Dion. We're going to have Nicola Wallen, who's a violin virtuoso and does chip tunes. He rewires Game Boys. My friend Mike Caudle, he's a guitarist for actually a local metal band After the Minor, quite the shredder. And then we get my cousin Brett Pickett, who's like a multi-instrumentalist, drummer, guitarist, keyboard player, producer, and we're gonna have a whole lot of synths and different pedals and gear and stuff, and we're gonna turn 6 musicians loose and go nuts.
It's a jazz group.
Yeah,
It's like a fusion, a little bit.
yeah.
But it'll probably be more based towards funk and experimental jazz kind of thing.
Yeah, because we're going to be pretty much holding down the anchor of that, so it will probably come out like that on the bottom end.
So you guys are going to just kind of come up with all of it in the studio, or how does that process work?
Yeah, it's essentially going to be studio jamming, like what, say, Miles Davis would have done,
Or Fish, but good.
Yeah. I like to think of Miles Davis, but hey, no problem.
Miles Davis Fish.
People be like, who's Miles Davis?
Everybody gets the Fish reference.
So if we wanted to find out what the schedule was for Carl Art and the Madmen.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page, facebook.com/callart and the Madmen, all spelled out, no hyphens or periods or anything.
Like this right here?
Yeah, like the one right here, right here.
I believe there's also carlart.org.
Yeah, carlart.org, and that has a lot of like photography that I do, but if you go to carlart.org/the Madmen, that has our live album from Good Beans Cafe that we did that is fun and enjoyable.
How long ago was that session?
Well, I don't know, you were there.
Yeah, it was like...
That was in August.
Yeah.
Early August.
Something like that. It was a while ago. Oh, yeah, it was mid-August.
Album.
Yeah, it was like a whole
And it was
different
hyper
work.
because I was drinking a lot of coffee.
Lots of coffee at the meetings.
That was the speed session.
Yeah.
So those are the two places, carlart.org/the Madmen and facebook.com/carlart and the Madmen.
Cool. Give us an idea of some of your songs, like some themes or maybe some stuff that drives that.
Oh, yeah. I guess thematically I'd say they're all, they're all about me, honestly. I mean, like that's the thing. It's not.
Explain yourself.
Yeah, explain what you do. Explain your poems to me. No, but it's thematically they're just all about Allen Ginsberg once said, poetry is a subjective truth, or an objective truth given a subjective reality, right? Like there is this objective truth that we all feel love, we all feel pain, we all cry and eat and sleep and make love to beautiful women or beautiful men or whatever. And those are all objective things that everybody does. Those are not like unique to you or me or anybody or you, the viewer. Everybody does them. They're objective, and the world is really objective, but we can only see it through our subjective eyes. And so, thematically, all the songs are about the way I subjectively see this objective world that we all live in.
So kind of like little parables.
Sure.
Ways to kind of digest the bigger issues.
I mean, really, it's basically it's like the New Testament. It's like the Bible, but better. is what I'm gonna say. It's like he took the
Heard it here
Bible.
first.
And what I'm saying is, we're bigger than Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Gotta be sold in the Bible, not surprised.
And they make you want to dance.
Not surprised.
Yeah,
And they make you want to dance, and that's a big
yeah.
thing, so.
I mean, sure, Jesus could turn water into wine, but we make you dance.
Make you dance.
You know.
Think you want to testify?
Bam, right there, they're like, oh my God.
I know.
So he's better than Jesus.
Didn't John Lennon? It was John Lennon, right? Somebody?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Beatles.
Yeah,
Jesus.
bigger than Jesus.
Yeah.
I just wanna,
More popular than Jesus.
Well, they sold more.
Yeah, not better than Jesus, but yeah.
More records than there were
Yeah.
Christians in the world or whatever, you know. So.
no churches to help us, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not held liable for any of that stuff.
Church to Elvis.
So you guys make all this stuff in-house, you have your own recording studio, right?
Yep.
Tell us a little about that, we talked about last month, but just that idea that you have the means of production is major for a lot of people, they don't have that access.
Yep. He also has one as well.
Yeah.
Arguably a lot nicer
Yeah.
than ours.
Yeah, talk about that.
Well, okay. So I guess, yeah, I have a recording studio. I mean, it's got, you know, it's set up with microphone, computers, keyboards, etc. But I think the real interesting point here is what you got hit on, Nick, is that, like, there was a time when not everybody had access to a recording studio, but, like, nowadays, like, you can spend $40 and get an attachment for your iPhone you can plug in XLR microphones to, or for, like, I think $20 you can run a mixer into your iPhone, and this is, you know, what 10 years ago, this was a $10,000 recording studio. Now it's in your pocket. And I think that's really the key, is that people need to realize that there's no gatekeepers anymore. There's nobody that we have to, there's no record executive that we gotta impress, or movie producer that we gotta say, get down on our knees and beg to make our movie.
Yeah.
It's, you know, $5 and a handshake or whatever. I mean, it's basically nothing to go out and make something. You know somebody with the equipment. Just say, hey, I have this idea, let's go make something. And with the internet distribution like YouTube or Bandcamp or SoundCloud or anything, you can reach the entire world. You don't need, so it gives us a lot of power that we can, like the fact that we both have recording studios, that we can just, like, you want to record? Yeah, let's record something, and we can make it. And we're no longer just consumers, we're producers. We're makers.
For sure.
Yeah, it's as much a work ethic as anything, you know.
Yeah,
Just, you know, that's as much the American dream as anything, like wanting to be your own boss and be the master of your own destiny, and that's certainly tied into it, you know. You don't want to crawl to somebody to get your record produced and have to compromise. So it's only natural that you've got to bring the means of production in-house at some point.
Well, you're cutting out a lot of the extraneous things. I mean, a record executive, if there's a market of 1,000 people for let's say a record, an album, no studio in their right mind is going to touch that, because there's no way they can make money on it the way they do business. But we can record it and then put it on the internet and sell 1,000 copies and make, you know, $10,000 or whatever, you know, or $10 a copy, and that is worth it to us to do, you know, that work and make that money. And now that's there, and so people can get, it becomes.
You're spreading the wealth.
Yeah, well, it's not like I said, gatekeepers. There's nobody at the gate guarding anything anymore. You can just run rampant, and it gives people what they want more of. They don't. A lot of people don't want to listen to what's on the top 40.
I'm all for that. Let's run rampant.
Yeah, that's it. And so now you get all these little small pockets of people producing their own stuff that you can really get into wherever your niche is, you know.
For sure.
Yeah, that's great. This is some interesting times we live in.
Yeah, well, it's
Democratization.
talking about the age of Aquarius.
Yeah, and what's interesting is like seeing the wave go back in the other direction. Like you might say the top 40 has almost become like its own unique
Niche
sound.
genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would.
Which I certainly don't really like, but you know, it's become something in its own right as a result of that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not to say that pop music is inherently bad. There's been a lot of great pop artists over the years.
No.
It's just that, you know.
That's a big topic to dissect.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that, but now you can have these, not just independent artists, but these niche, or these very small, like there's like 10 people that really like hardcore metal yodeling, and now they can get hardcore metal yodeling somewhere on the internet that they could not before.
Yeah, I was looking for that. I think, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah. So.
Do you guys do it through Bandcamp as well, if people just want to download, or can they come to the Facebook or the site?
The carlart.org/themadman will take you to the Bandcamp page.
All that.
Yeah, where you can download it.
And what are CDs going for?
On digital download or like in person?
Both.
Well, the digital download's free at carlart.org/madmen, and the physical copies of the CD, because it does have like actual production value of cost is I think we should have $5 around there, give or take.
It was $10.
Yeah.
About the same amount for commercial.
Yeah. And so we got those, and it's.
So if people if they download it and they really like it and they want to support the artists, they can come to a show and pick CDs up.
Exactly, that's the idea, is that it's that whole freemium model. You can get the digital download, but if you actually want, because the CD is, I should have grabbed one with me. I didn't think to grab it when I was leaving the house, but it's actually, when you open it up, the dimensions of the CD case that's open is almost identical to the American flag, so it's actually this really nice designed American flag.
You know what? I think I have a JPEG of that. You want to see the JPEG?
Yeah, let's throw the JPEG up.
There we go.
So very cool. And they can download that, they can get it from you guys.
Yeah.
Is there anything else coming up that you want to mention, or do you want to just get into the jam?
You guys have anything you can think of right off the top of your heads?
I'm ready to rock.
Well, we're here for you today, so.
Well, I don't know, I forget stuff. I'm a forgetful guy. I'm a forgetful lead singer that drinks too much. I think let's just, let's get into it. Let's go play some music.
Well, let's check out Carl Art and Madman.
Yeah.
All right.
This next one's kind of a metaphor.
Kenny Little, I want to thank Jerome Shaw, I want to thank Ringmaster Zeb, and of course I want to thank Carl Madman and you for watching at home. My name's Nick Custer. I'm Paul Lee Everett.
Jenny Lunch.
Kenny Little.
With Flint Underground, we want to say peace out.
was kind of loud, and I'll figure it out. Oh, you know what? No, we're playing a new one. Then we'll play Thespis.
Surprise!
We played it once.
Catching it on film.
Did we play Fernando's song last time? 'Cause I don't think we did it at Churchill's. I think I forgot.
I don't even remember.
I don't remember. I think I forgot. We're playing Fernando's song. So it's what is it? C on the third fret. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah. So it goes what is it?
He said I could cover it, so I did. We did, just now.
For the...
That's the first and a half time?
We tried once before. First and a half. I tried once before. We got about halfway through it. Oh, Fivers. Okay, now this was one we know. So, no worries. Is that right? Is it really fast? Yeah. second verse.
Go that way.
Hey, you wanna go to your house for a while? Hey, I got a jar of moonshine. You don't drink it, so.
Jenny.
No, I
Chew it up.
Well, anyway, well, come on, sit down.
Here, take it back. Where do you want to sit, Carl?
I don't know, where do you want to sit?
You should be the most visible one, so sit on the end of the bed.
Okay.
Ryan, you get the other visible spot.
Because you're worried about sitting down now.
Sure.
My bones don't work right.
People might recognize you from being on the show before. You have such a big audience that they might recognize you. 12 of them.
Yes, we're now up to 12 people.
12 households, right?
Well, it's 12 worldwide. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.